hate looking into a camera. So you don't know who I am. Some of you might, some of you probably don't. My name is Harvey, and I am the vocalist of a band called Graphic Nature. This is my podcast, and if you're a listener, look at us now. Video, come on. An introduction to this podcast is, this is a conversation about mental health in the music industry. And it's not just based on sad shit all the fucking time. It's like fun shit. We talk a lot about gaming. We talk about films. We talk about tour. And then we also delve into the mental health side of things. And I just thought I'd do an intro for anyone that hasn't watched this before or hasn't heard of the podcast before. It's a podcast called Fucked Up Just Like Me. I think it's good to shed light on mental health as a whole, not just in the music industry, but in other aspects of it. So every kind of 2 to 3 weeks, I'll get someone on from either a band or someone that works in the music industry, or, an actor or something like that, that are based in the creative arts, to just tell their stories of, coping with the thing that goes on inside our heads. So, it's interesting. It's a bit of a mad one. It's just a bit of fun. If you do want to support the podcast, however, head to patreon.com/justlike-me. It's £1 a month, and you get early access to videos, and that's about it. So if you like it, support. If you don't, you can watch them for free on here. I will update the Patreon members when the new video is going on. I'll kind of give behind the scenes kind of shit of when I am recording a new one. So today's guest is one of my favorite vocalists, one of the most influential vocalists for me as well, from when I was younger. His name is Nick Worthington. He plays in a band called Still in Love, and he used to be the vocalist of a band called Dead Swans. His way of shouting and screaming, if you want to say that, has been such a huge influence to me, just because of how much emotion he puts into what he says and the kind of lyrical content that he writes about. Mainly focuses on mental health, and then with Still in Love, it goes into his sobriety, and I think there's songs that speak about addiction and stuff, which I really fucking appreciate. We had a conversation about that. I've known him for a while, so it was good to have a catch up, good to have a reconnect about just what's going on in life, really. So I won't bore you any further, but I hope you enjoy it. A little lampshading and stuff.
Yeah, cool. So how's your day going?
Mate, it's good. Just work, man. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Other than that, just chilling, playing some games, just doing nothing.
Yeah. What are you playing at the moment?
I'm playing through The Last of Us 2 again.
Oh, sick. I did play that. I don't know. I went into what are those stores, CEX?
Yeah.
And I went to go buy it, and the staff member in there was like, "Don't get it." And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And then they basically said "Oh, it's not good. It's not And I think that what I understood was they were pissed because of what happens, and that Joel and all of that. And I was just well, I didn't know any of this. I just got told, "Dude, buy this. It's good." And I went, "All right." And then I went there, and they kind of judged me. I was just there. I was like, so I'm still going to buy it, even though you've been assholes. But
yeah. It's such a dumb fucking way to be, man. It's so elitist in a way.
Yeah.
Just let someone enjoy the game.
Yeah. I forget the title of the movie, but the movie where Jack Black is the record store guy.
I don't think I've seen
that. But anyway, it's someone goes to buy something, and he's just like, "That fucking sucks," and I'm just like, I've always feel like that when I go into specifically to buy games. because I'll probably pick the worst thing, and I won't know, but I'll find out in my own way.
Yeah.
And sometimes the games that I like are like, people are like, oh, that sucks, and I was like, I had a really good time. But
I'm the same with shit like that. Like, whenever like someone tells me a game is shit, and I'm like, I had like the best time with it. It was fucking great.
I used to, when I was in Vienna, I had an Xbox, and I was playing BioShock and Fear.
Oh yeah, sick.
Fear. Yeah, it was really, and that for me, because that was like my first. I broke my foot so bad, and it was like, right, I just got my friend from Vienna got me an Xbox, or gave me some tips on what games to get, and I got Dead Space, the second Dead Space, all the Fear games, then Metro, and just did that for months, and just withered away on the sofa.
It's sometimes the best way.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, man. Like, I'm such a introverted person, so gaming and films is just where I'm most comfortable. So
I did actually notice that I do, paying attention to Instagram.
Yeah.
You posted something. You put a story up, and it was like the games that you're enjoying. I think you were talking about Graphic Nature.
Yeah,
and it was like
been talking
upcoming stuff, and then you were like Resident Evil, and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah,
and was like, holy shit. And I'll probably just ask you now. I don't know which one to get because I haven't gone there.
Okay.
I just played Resident Evil 2 on the first PlayStation.
Okay.
That's how long ago.
Okay, so you could definitely go into the Resident Evil 2 remake on the PS5.
Okay. And that's good?
Yeah. It's
okay, cool. Yeah.
I can't imagine it's like expensive, but yeah, do that.
I wouldn't really mind. Yeah. It's just kind of. Do you play Silent Hill?
No, mainly because when I was a kid, it scared the shit out of me.
Right.
So I just didn't go near
it. But you like horror.
In certain like aspects. But
I know what you mean. We have this thing, like I have my friend that always stays over on Mondays, and we always watch horror films.
Awesome.
But we're always when you're going to pick something and you're like, you'll look at each other and be like, I don't know, that one might be a bit too much. So you're like, where's the gauge? Like, how do we figure this out? And so I definitely was traumatized as a kid by, I saw some stuff. I was a fainter. I was piss my pantser. I had a lot of, but again, it's like that thing where you can't fucking help yourself, and you're like, I'm not going to pull my head away from the screen until I turn white.
Yeah, I need to know why it's scary.
Yeah, like I don't understand why I'm feeling this way, and I still felt Nightmare on Elm Street, like fucking that messed me up. I ran in on my sisters who were having a slumber party. My sister who was having a slumber party, and I was just the annoying little brother, and I ran in, and they were watching the third one, I think. Okay. But there's the bit where Freddy basically cuts the kid's legs and arms and walks him along like a puppet. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I've only seen the first one.
Right. I fainted and fell into them, like into they had pizza and stuff, and I just collapsed on the pizza, and then woke up like shaking violently. And then ever since then, I had like an issue with I'll tell you all about it. It's pretty interesting.
Man, the only film that's done that for me is like, did you ever see that film Darkness Falls? It's like a really shitty like B-movie type of thing. But
I think I was literally scrolling past that the other day.
It's like based on the myth of the Tooth Fairy. And this thing can only get you when it's like dark. So like the kids, I think on the front cover, like sat in the bathroom.
2000s.
Yeah. I was in school.
Yeah.
That shit.
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep with the light off for the longest time.
Oh man.
Just from fear of being taken.
Did you ever see The Boogeyman?
No.
There's like that scene where the kid's like in bed, classic, like, please leave the door open a little bit. Light's kind of coming in, and then the light goes out, and he's just staring at like a chair, like the one you're sitting in, and there's a hoodie hung over it. But the more he looks at it, the more it looks like someone sat in the chair. And then eventually it looks like the dude stands up. Yeah. And like, it's the goosebumps on the back of your neck, like, turn it off.
Yeah. No. Because that shit can't happen, I don't think. But in your mind it does. So you wake up from one of those nightmares or something, and your jumper is on the door. You're like, fucking Christ. Like, that's just scared the shit out of me.
I've got a very, very like detailed imagination as well. So that's another, like, going back to like being a fainter. I haven't done this in years. Like, hopefully I don't ever do it again, but I could just sit there and think about something for, probably under 10 minutes and then faint.
Fuck.
And then, like that was more like school time.
Right.
But I could, I'd focus on a thought. And the worst thing about it with a thought, you plant the seed, you're like doing everything you can to not think about it, but it just creeps its way into your brain. Sucks.
I kind of get that with panic attacks. Like,
oh, dude.
My panic attacks aren't like hyperventilating. They're just, everything gets hot and like narrow. And then I'll just kind of like, not pass out, but like, lose my balance and shit.
You kind of get like vertigo, your depth perception. Yeah,
exactly that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can go into that just by thinking. So I try not to overthink or like, I don't know, think about something bad. It's usually when I'm stressed that happens.
You end up, like, if you're breathing from here, from your chest, you end up panting. And then I always refer to it as like my head is, if say I'm just out of balance, I'm not in a good place, you'll be, your brain is kind of like a CD and you're skipping the tracks. You're going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Kind of perpetuating the panic. And it can get so out of control so fast if you don't know how to really hold on to the things to keep you going. So for me, after doing breathing exercises and figuring, I still get very, very uncomfortable in, say, like staff meetings when I'm at work. If I know I've got something big the next day, you can get that. I even get it now sometimes, like playing shows and stuff. I'll get like the, wobbly knees, butterflies in my stomach, hot flushes. It's not fear. It's like it's not a feeling that you really want to experience, is it? But I mean,
no, I don't know whether it's anxiety or it's something else that induces it, but I get it. Mostly when it's our own shows. If we're supporting, it doesn't matter. But if it's our own shows, I'm suddenly like very aware of, my own health. And I'm like, what if I pass out on stage? Yeah. And then you start thinking about, what if... Do you ever see that video of Geezer from the Mule getting electrocuted on stage?
I've seen the dude from Half Heart, Pat Flynn from Half Heart. I saw him do the whole, like, he's, shows like popping off and you can see quite clearly he's like, yeah. It fully gets him.
It terrifies me.
Yeah, I do know that the thing you're talking about, I can't picture it in my head. That was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Because the video went everywhere, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that shit scares me because, like, I know SM58s are like, industry standard. They can fucking go through anything. But because I wet my hair every show, I'm like, I'm a conductor. Like, it's going to happen.
So
I just worry about that shit.
Yeah. I've heard some, like, they might be more like myths.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing this one story where this band played. It was like a festival, and it was heavily raining, and they came on stage, and it was just like the classic, like, 4 count in, and as soon as they kicked in, it was just like a bolt across the whole stage, and everyone got like, I don't know, maybe that happened.
Yeah.
Hopefully it didn't, but it does make you think. But when you were saying anxiety on stage, do you find that you have more anxiety in day-to-day life off stage?
Yeah. 1000%. Like, I always tell people, like, I wish I was the person on stage, off stage.
Like, quite confident.
Yeah, completely different. And when I'm off stage, I'm like always so very aware of my own mental health and like my own anxiety, and like I don't really like people that much or like going outside that much, so it's crazy. Yeah. I guess I'm quite an introvert, but I also work 40 plus hours on Oxford Street, and after that you end up wanting to, I want to stay home. Yeah.
Like, time off is so precious, and you don't really want to feel like you're constantly having to just recharge just to get through to the next day.
Yeah.
Especially when, it's already not an easy time for so many different reasons for everyone, but I feel like you just said, I feel way more comfortable playing, because I feel like it's some, not like I'm not in my element, but I understand stuff. It just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, I might be in a queue at the post office, and then the things that you're saying, I'll start getting, beads of sweat coming down my head. I'll go a bit pale. I'll have to pretend that I still do this sometimes, not a lot, luckily, but I'll pretend that I'm tying my shoe, but I'm actually just going down just to kind of take a knee.
Yeah.
Because this line in the post office is going to kill me for some reason. As soon as you get outside, suddenly it's like, it's like I still, if I go to the cinema, I have to get an aisle seat.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
sit
exits in the middle. I can't. I have to be. If I go to a gig, when I go to gigs, I'll be by the door.
Yeah, right at the back.
Like I have. Yeah, every single time. I mean, unless it's like there's some band that overpowers that feeling, and I have to move up and kind of really, really soak it all in. But generally speaking, every single thing in day-to-day life is very calculated, and I'll know what part of the tube I'm sitting on. I'll know when I can and can't get on a train. I'll know if I can enter a shop or go into a restaurant. I actually found out that I'm very, so it's a lot of it is sound.
Yeah.
So even these, I was freaking out in a Wagamama's. Like, it was just like I couldn't sit still. And my girlfriend she had a pair of these, and she just put them on my head, and I suddenly was like, oh my God, like I'm good. And it must have looked weird.
No,
yeah.
Have you ever had a diagnosis for ADHD or like Asperger's or autism? Because that's a big thing for that.
No. So, I've done the online. I've not had. I got told that, in schools, like, your son's got a very, very wild imagination, but it's like, I don't know. We can definitely go into that stuff, because it's it's really interesting. There's something for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. In here.
It's just interesting that you say that, because I'm the same when it comes to sound, and apparently light.
Yeah.
And my band just fucking laugh, and they're like, so are you in the right line of work to have loud noise and flashing lights?
Yeah.
But it's like what you're saying, you kind of turn it off and do your job for half an hour.
So if you were, that's the thing, if you're on stage and say, you know, you're about to play a show and then there's just a thunder of strobe lights, but because you just got into this thing and your mindset is just clicked and you're like, yeah, but you go and say, watch a band, and then you get hit with a strobe light and you'd be like, ah!
It's too much, I'm done.
Yeah, that definitely happens. It's
mad. I don't understand, but yeah. So how did Still in Love start? How did this thing like all come around?
I guess I'd been trying to do music for years, but it just sometimes, I mean, if I looked really, really deep into it and, you know, definitely overthinking and not really being sure of what I was trying to do, you know, just like really feeling all of the feeling into the negatives of like not having a creative outlet and kind of kicking my own butt over it. But it came around so organically after trying to do a band for so long.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the day before, the week before, I was like, I'm just like calling it a day. I'm just going to focus on work. I'm going to keep skating, and that's it. I'm cool with that. I'm totally fine with that because I've stressed so hard about trying to do a band, and then randomly we had a lineup and a band name and a practice booked in like 48 hours, and I was
sick.
There like, but I even couldn't let myself celebrate's the wrong word, but I couldn't really believe that. And I was so hopeless that I thought, it's going to get cancelled. Like, it's not going to work. Don't try to, don't get your hopes up, you know. And just because I really, really knew how much, you know, just writing music really means to me personally, and just to have that out, even if it is just like, you're going to put 2 songs out this year and you're going to play 1 show, I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. Like, I'll hold on to that, and it'll be really, really special for me, and I'll look forward to it and cherish it. So when things started, you know, we started writing more songs, and we still have a very small amount of songs, but like,
it's a good 3 songs though, man.
Oh, thanks.
That's fucking awesome.
Like we're all a bit taken back, really. Not to just sound cliche about the whole thing, but I guess for myself and Mark and Adrian and now Curtis and Moped, we're all, I don't know, I think we're all at stages in our life where this is absolutely 100% just a hobby. You know, it's a creative endeavor that we're not trying to, I don't even know if we could do imagine if we got offered a tour, you know, like a 30-day tour. I don't think I could do that physically and with work. Like, I just, you know, but it just, the way it came around, originally I wanted to call the band Withdrawal Symptoms.
Okay.
And I had that idea and concept, and it was all around, I wrote all the lyrics pre and following about sobriety and getting sober, and you know, that obviously all fell into, every song is about bettering one's mental health, basically. And it just, I think the others were like, Withdrawal Symptoms doesn't sound like a band name.
Sounds like an album or an EP.
Yeah, and I was like, I think at first I was a bit like, no, it, you know,
You're like me,
and then I was like, no, this is how it has to be, and this is what I've seen in my dreams. And then I was just on my way to work, and I was just listening to Cat Power. I just have a little playlist that I make that's quite just we've just got playlists, and it's a chill one on the way to work. And there's Still in Love, this song popped up, and I was just like, that's kind of cool. And I didn't want to call it anything that was too... There's enough negativity around the songs, and even though it is coming from a place of trying to sort of process grief, addiction, loss, and just attacking whatever forms of mental health are being, traumatized along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought the band name was so nice.
Yeah.
That it just made me go like, that's... And then, if, I was to say what it means, it would just be, just still in love. Still bloody trying to make sense of things and get by in a very, very harsh, cutthroat society. And, my mum even, she texted me and she was just like, it's really nice. I was like, thanks, Mum. Like, yeah.
Does your mum like music?
She just said it sounded like the old band. But
it's got the Dead Swans vibe to it, but I think that's just down to you. It's just angry.
Yeah. It's really interesting seeing how the new songs and those songs came together. Because the songwriting, I'm sure you have this with Graphic Nature, but if you're writing, you kind of know what you're going to do, like what's going to come out. You kind of have an idea of, you have your sound. I don't think we have our sound necessarily yet. So sometimes, we'll have some idea and we'll put it all together, and how it's translated will all be like, this works. This really, really works, but I think it's more intimidating for me because I never know sometimes, it's super easy for me to put vocals over fast hardcore punk and, breakdowns and all of that. And it just kind of comes and you're like, all right, I'm used to that. We've done it for years now. It just makes sense. But then they'll write something that's a bit more tech or a bit slower, and I'll be like, okay, this is interesting. Like, I'll have to try and get my head around it in a sense. But I still don't really know what it will sound like, say, in 2-3 recordings time. Like, we're actually recording on the 19th of next month.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that for
the next bit.
An EP or just a few singles?
So, if we had the money, we would have recorded it all. We would have waited but we just broke it up. So we put Withdrawal Symptoms Part 1 out, and we're going to put Withdrawal Symptoms Part 2 out. And so the first few songs were the darker side, I guess. I mean, the next 3 aren't. They're still quite dark. But there's a little story there.
Okay.
And I just have to, once that's out and once that's done, I can mentally be like, right, whew, I don't have to think about that anymore. And it's just finishing that. There was some things that I just had to get off my chest. Like there was like a pretty bad relapse, and then another song that was written after, but it kind of approached addictive tendencies still, which were quite present. That was a bit of an eye-opening moment for me when I was in hospital actually just after we recorded. I went to hospital to have my gallbladder taken out.
Yeah, I saw the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean that was the most pain I've ever been in. It was really, it was crazy. But I was misdiagnosed like a load of times when we were going to St. Mary's, St. Thomas, private hospitals at 3 a.m. Like I was just crawling around on the floor, and every time they'd discharge me and just give me a bunch of codeine.
Right.
And then discharge me and give me a bunch of codeine and so on. And that happened probably five to 7 times, something like that. Mm-hmm. Until eventually they figured it out, because I was told it was just like, you got a stomach ulcer, and then I got told, oh, when you broke your ribs from skating, you had like a muscular tear that kind of sits in the same place. And they were like, oh, just rest. And then 3 a.m. is kind of like the witching hour for this sort of thing.
Right.
It goes when you're laying. If I'm like sleeping on my right side, you'll just get this. I mean, it's probably different for everyone, but you feel like you get this kind of indigestion, and then it presses all around your ribs to the point where breathing can get a little bit difficult. But you know when you've been winded.
Yeah.
All right, winded, but you can just about breathe. Having a fucking knife just put through your gut, like to the point where I'm just hysterically crying, like rolling around my flat with my girlfriend, trying to be like, what should we do? And I'm like, just about to. I got to the point where I couldn't actually respond. Like I could make noises, but I didn't know what was going on. It was the pain just absolutely floored me. Anyway, one doctor was just like, it's his gallbladder. Like, how have we not figured this out? Like, why is it taking this long? I guess it's kind of common practice. And anyway, they gave me so much codeine that even when I wasn't in pain, I'd be like, yeah. I'm in loads of pain.
Yeah, depending.
Just to fucking get the stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I actually went to a private doctor because I thought it was going to take too long, and they were like, "We're going to put you on codeine for the next 6 to 8 months." And I was just like, "I'm going to stop drinking again."
Yeah.
Like I can. This is going to happen. This is really going to fucking happen. And I wasn't like trying to talk myself into it or anything. I just thought, like, if you put me on opioids for that long, I don't see a way out of me, like, because I'm already like loving this stuff. And then the private doctor, I remember him saying, he was like, "Oh, we won't give you codeine. We'll give you the good stuff." And like that was his words. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
and he was like,
"We'll give you this shit's already."
He was like, "We'll give you Oxy," and I was like, because like, and that fucked up bit of my brain is going, yes, and then like the rest of me is going like, fuck, like I don't want, no one wants to have surgery, like you don't want to, but who wants to be in this much pain, and then every single time I'd go to hospital because I'd be in severe pain, they give me 10 milligrams of morphine. And again, I'm like, give me more of that. Yeah. So when I was in hospital, dude, it's so bad. It
makes me feel horrible.
Also, it's like a really, really heavy constipant. So if they're not giving you laxatives and you're having 10 milligrams of this stuff a day, you get gridlocked. And, I didn't go to the toilet for like over 5 days. And the nurses were like, "When was the last time you passed your bowels?" And I was like, off my head, I was like, "I don't know. Who cares?" Like I was watching like I think they had like all the diehards and everything, so I was just like off my head on morphine, watching action movies, loving it. And
okay.
yeah, it was, but that whole, sorry, I went completely off on a tangent there, but
no, you're good.
It kind of opened my eyes to be like, you know, I'll be coming up sober from alcohol 6 years on June 29th, and
fucking hell.
That, yeah, like time is
big.
like
sick.
Yeah. But once I experienced that, and it was, you know, it was mostly for the pain that I was enduring, but I felt that person, very alive and well, like loving it, and I was like, shit. Like there was one day, after I got rushed back into hospital after some complications. They thought they might have to put me back in theatre because they missed something, where I was like, what? And they gave me morphine again. And you know, you've seen 28 Days Later?
Yeah.
You know when he like walks out onto the bridge and he's in the hospital gown?
Mm-hmm. It's completely empty.
I like did that. But there's people everywhere. And I'm like...
Oh, from like St. Thomas?
Yeah.
Onto the bridge?
Yeah. Literally straight out onto the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that area, there's like this weird... I want to say it's an off license, but they just... I swear they just sell every energy drink on the face of the earth.
Yeah,
in the
and
window.
like loads of London merch as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like stood out there in these weird hospital sandals. I've still got the like the tube sticking out my arm. I'm kind of like holding it, and I was just like walking around outside that bit, like seeing if I could just, I don't know, like snag a cigarette off someone, and in my head I was like, I'm gonna go get a beer. And I remember the nurse saying to me, like, be back by 10:45. If you're not back by 10:45, I'm gonna, you know, send someone out, and we'd just be back by then. And I was like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, I'm stood out there without a second thought in at all. Just have a beer. And then luckily I had like a sobering thought, like, you got to go back to your hospital bed. And I went back to the bed, and I kind of came around the next day, and I was like, I wasn't sure if it actually happened or not.
Yeah.
I was floating around. And then I thought about it for days to weeks, and was just like, whoa. Like, that was super, like, that was the closest I've been to having a drink.
Right.
Even though morphine and codeine and all of that stuff is probably even more heavy. But, yeah, I mean, I'm still... It actually gives me shivers. Like, actually, I was like, I have dreams about it sometimes where I'm, you know, someone's like accidentally giving me a beer that was like, maybe I had an alcohol-free beer.
Okay.
And someone's giving me, and then I'd be like, and you know, someone would tap me on the shoulder, like, don't worry about it, it's only one.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then you're like, 3
and I'd be there like, oh. Yeah, and I'll just be up all night, like, zing. Do back to breathing exercises, back to these positive habitual patterns I've got. But yeah,
I find it like, coming from that side of things myself. I've been sober for like a year and 4 months.
Man, amazing!
But I still find myself like at 3 a.m. being like, I could. Like that thing in the back of your head is like, I could, and I know how to get it, and I know where to get it.
Yeah.
But then you go to sleep and you wake up and you're like, I feel great because I didn't do this thing. So
yeah,
scary though, isn't it?
Even when I drank, if I did, you know, you'd navigate through that night. Those longer evenings where you wouldn't drink, and I always felt like this sense of accomplishment if I just woke up and I was like, yes, I did it.
Yeah.
And the drinking, and it was it's just so common. It's so the way that drinking culture is here in the UK, and even to when I was living in Austria, you know, that was, I would say it was more extreme, but then again, that's just where I was in my mind. So
right.
It's wherever you are, you can make this place as toxic as you'd like it to be, depending on where you're at. And it's crazy. It's really, really crazy bars over there, they're open till the early hours of the morning. You can drink at 16. You can pretty much it depends where you're looking, but you can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
And
there's always someone that knows someone.
Yeah. And touring, I don't know if how long's Graphic Nature been a band?
We started in like 2019, but
okay.
Yeah. No,
I was just partying.
So I'm going to go off on a little tangent. So basically,
go for it.
Graphic Nature wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone to the Dead Swans show that you did at the Barfly.
Barfly?
Was it the Barfly? Was it Black Heart? No, it was a Barfly. It was the fucking, I think you done Sleepwalking, the full album.
Yeah. Oh,
2017 maybe.
Yeah, not like 2000. I thought you meant like, you know, going back a bit.
Oh no, but
yeah. With Rough Hands and State Funeral. Yep. Yeah.
So,
but we.
Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I bumped into the guitarist of the band that I then joined at that show, and he was like, "Oh, we're looking for a vocalist," and then I helped those guys out for like a year, and we changed it to Graphic Nature.
Fuck!
So if I hadn't have gone to that show,
that's crazy.
So
that's so sick. I actually remember now. Now I had on my phone that was even worse than the phone I have now. I had a video, and I totally remember you there. You still had really long hair.
Yeah.
There's like a
shouting at you.
yeah. There's a, because I was thinking, like, we played a show together in Germany.
When I was in Giants, it was Destruction Dome.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Where was that? I'm going to feel really bad now that I don't know that.
Dessau, I think it's called.
I think you're right. But when was that?
That was 2015, 16. We were on tour with Comeback Kid and Defeater at the time.
Yeah. Oh, I think we just came out for a one-off.
Yeah.
Because I was going to be, I thought we were touring with Defeater, but
I mean, no, because it was Negative Approach, us, Defeater, Comeback Kid.
Yeah, I think we were doing, it was like a strange time. It was always a strange time, but it was definitely quite a strange time for Dead Swans. And I think maybe we went over and did like three or four shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one, I remember seeing you guys there. But time, I remember it all, but nice. I can't, like, the timeline is a bit of a blur. Those ones as well, like that. Again, just those big festivals. If you know when and if you're drinking, it's a bit of a mess.
That was peak drinking and taking for me.
Really?
Was that time? Yeah. And even going into like the beginning of Graphic Nature, that's what kind of pushed the first song. And I'd come out of a relationship before. I just met my now wife in like 2016, and I was still doing kind of shit. And then I think it was just one night, I just looked at myself in the mirror after getting back from a night out. I was just like, you're a fucking mess. And like threw away whatever I had left. And then started writing about it, and kind of stayed all right since. Obviously, I've fell in and out, but kind of stuck to it now.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's that's so. I'm so happy for you. Firstly, it's really, really. Sometimes when you're, you might be speaking to a friend or even a fan of your band, or someone that's reached out to you about maybe addictive tendencies.
Yeah.
And what works for you isn't, it's people, I'm sure most people know this. What works for you is probably not going to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, but that in itself, like just having that inside of you to throw away said stuff and just write about it. Like that is, that's, a lot of people wouldn't have the strength for that.
I think I definitely regretted throwing it away, but it was gone and I couldn't do anything about it. But I think it's because I got home, I had to leave for work in half an hour. I just got through the door, had to change my clothes and then leave. And I was just like, you fucking mess, man. Like, sort your shit out. I don't know, I got lucky. I think I just had enough. I had enough of not eating enough. I lost so much weight, man. I just wanted to drink and do shit and smoke cigarettes. It's not good for you at all.
No. Especially with, there's some people, some friends that I have, and even people that tour in bands, and I'm generally like, how are you still doing that?
Yeah.
And I'm not in like a dig, because generally some people can just hack it and they love it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm like, how? Like, I don't understand how it's like the sort of Keith Richards thing. Like,
how is he still alive?
He's probably gonna outlive us.
Yeah.
And we're
cryo chamber or
sober and stuff. It's that thing. I just don't get it. Like, even though I was blacked out drunk for a very, very long portion of time. Whenever how hangovers just get worse.
Yeah. And
you get to that point where it's always worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like, oh, this one's not so bad. It's like this.
It's always bad.
I've stepped it up again. Like I can still those memories, when you actually have sensory memories, you can actually taste and smell certain things.
I have that
just off of memory. Really?
From smells, just the smell of whatever I was taking. It's that petrol-y smell that I sometimes get.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? There's nothing that smells like it.
Yeah. I remember like that, with like MDMA, ket, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can, if I think about it enough, I can really go, oh. It's still on the palate of my mouth.
Yeah.
Years and years later. Yeah.
That shit's mad to me. I don't know how, whether it's an actual smell or if it's just in your brain or some shit. I don't know.
They were, I don't know. All of those, it all stems from having those first few drinks, and then you open those doors, and someone, whether it be yourself or your friend, be like, right, like you don't even have to say anything. You know what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, it
just becomes, it's just, and what we're doing now. We're all trying to get blind.
Yeah.
Or trying to turn off whatever else is left turned on after, destroying ourselves this far. And I always found with those kind of drugs, they were like the plan B.
Right.
It wasn't intended, but we're going to take it anyway. Or I'm going to take it anyway. Yeah. Strange memories.
I feel like if we're going to be open about it, like that was always a plan A for me. Like anything like speed or coke or whatever, that was a plan A, because I find with alcohol, it kind of slows me down and I'm like sluggish, but the uppers were like, oh, you can function, and now you can talk to that person that you've never spoken to before, and suddenly you're this really confident dude and you'll just fucking talk to everyone and be the life of the party almost. And I depended on that. I depended on having that to be someone that I wasn't, but I loved the feeling, and that's when you go.
Yeah, I completely relate. I think I was more of I would just drink, and not necessarily get involved so much. And I'd have those random days where I'd be a bit more energetic, but I would happily just be drink on my own.
Fair enough.
Like that's more. I definitely normalized just going to bars and pubs on my own.
Okay.
And then sometimes I'd say I'm like, oh yeah, I was like reading a book. But I wasn't. I was staring at the wall and just drinking as much as I could. And
fuck.
And that I did that. That was just normal. It became like a very, when I was in Vienna, that was like a normal thing to just, I drink on the way to work, I drink at work, I drink after work, and then I drink when I get home.
Right.
So just like a constant kind of conditioning, I guess.
Yeah, you must have built up like a tolerance, right?
Yeah. I could.
And then you need more. So.
Yeah. I'd never let myself stop to. I mean, I had like a 50-day stop,
awesome.
Which I did, and then once I got to 50, it was almost like I did it.
Yeah.
Now let's go party. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. So, and then just came back twice as hard. And even to the point when I had all these back pains and I was pissing blood. And
fucking hell. Was that from like kidney stones or some shit? Or liver?
Yeah. It was I mean, going back to the gallbladder thing as well, they couldn't. It's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack.
Okay.
Because I didn't fit the demographic and they didn't know what they were looking for regarding like, I was like, why did this happen? And they were like, well, did you used to drink? And I was like, yeah, like a lot. Because I turned yellow and my liver stopped working one time in hospital because my gallbladder had blocked it off. And they were like, yeah, your diet, your alcohol consumption, that's the cause, basically. Like if we were to lean it towards anything, this is why.
Okay.
And which is the irony, because we we literally just recorded withdrawal symptoms, and then 2 weeks later I'm in theatre and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
This isn't. No, you got to be joking.
It's mad. Like after 6 years of not having anything, it can pop up and like happen.
Yeah, that. I mean, I completely lost how to talk. I had pain before,
right?
And it was enough for me to kind of clutch my just below my sternum.
Mm-hmm.
I just had my hand there, but I wouldn't be like leaning over. I'd just be like you know, kind of like just like a minor stitch.
Yeah.
And I'd get it every now and then, and I just didn't think. I just thought, oh yeah, I've just pulled something, or I've just, you know. And it just progressively over a length of time got worse and worse. But yeah, it all. I can't remember what we were talking about before that. How did I get onto this?
Alcohol consumption?
Yeah.
I was so invested in listening to what you were saying that I'd completely forgotten what we'd gotten from, kind of thing.
God. That goes to show where my head's at from just being overworked. Yeah, but basically that is... That whole thing with, lastly, about that surgery, they said it was all to do with that. And I guess I was just drinking, for the time that I was drinking heavily on my own. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
It got like really crazy to the point where my ex-girlfriend was, you know, she'd hide all the... We wouldn't have alcohol in the apartment. She'd hide everything or get rid of it, which was, you know, obviously the smartest decision. And there was, you know, sometimes there was nothing. I'd like a couple of nights I tried drinking mouthwash because, you know, I was just like,
the alcohol, yeah,
that's gonna work.
It's gonna give you the shits.
Oh my god, like, but yeah, just. I'd make sure that I'd be topped up enough by the time I get home, but I could function weirdly,
right.
Like you said, building a tolerance up. I could have a conversation. Might not remember it, but you know, they think, you know, my friends would be like, oh, I got called like Nick and then Nick 2. So if Nick 2 came out, that was the dude that some people preferred.
Okay.
And then the ones that actually cared about me, not saying that, you know, anyone didn't care about me, but the, you know, people that really had my best interests in mind, like, you know, they fucking hated that person. Mm-hmm. They were like, please take care of yourself. And I unfortunately, like so many, didn't have the tools, and I just didn't understand, and I deflected all the help that, if anyone tried to give me advice, you know, I'd push it all away.
Yeah.
And, just try to, no one understands. No one gets me. I'm going to be doing this, and you do you.
Yeah.
Until eventually someone does offer help, and you know you might be in a very desperate place and be like, "Fuck! Like why? How have I gotten here?" And I always agreed with that whole. You know, I did it when I hit rock bottom, but you know there is no such thing. Like
yeah, you can get lower.
You can. Oh my god, yeah. You can go so far down. And I had so many friends as well around that time that had unfortunately passed away from, you know, partying, drinking, whether it be offing themselves or an accident at a party or, right. And none of that really shook me up. None of it really made me go. I remember hearing that a friend of mine had passed away on a holiday, from you know, he was, let's just say he was burning the candle pretty hard at both ends, and right. I heard about it, and I just didn't feel anything, and I was like, you know, in my fucking brain at the time, it was like, oh, we had some good times, like. And then I just carried on with my day. Like I didn't like, I spent like a lot of time with this person growing up. Mm-hmm. Specifically, you know, around just like the skate park and years and years. And he was always such like a lookout as a person. Like he really took it. He was a bit older and he took care of all the younger kids.
Right.
And, you know, I didn't grieve at all. I was so deep in all of this stuff, and I think I did, you know, after once I came around to think about it, but
yeah,
It's just crazy what addiction can do to your brain. Basically, is what I'm saying. You know,
it's the priority, isn't it, over everything?
Yeah.
Like the priority of whatever you're addicted to, that takes everything else is meaningless in a way.
Yeah.
Unless you've got people to do it with you, and it's kind of like,
yeah,
you know,
it would be exactly that thing that will just turn you into the most selfish, ignorant version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll sabotage absolutely everything to get that one thing to get you through the next hour.
Yeah.
And when you really, I mean, it makes so much sense to speak about it. And you know, it's so easy for me to just say it now and go, oh yeah, well, I'm not going to do that, because, you know, I mean, I put a lot of work in and kind of figured out my own means of dealing with addiction.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, to get to that point before, if I was to tell me in 2014, to whatever the timeline was, that person would have just been like telling me to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, some people, you've got to be ready inside yourself before, you know.
Yeah, I think you have to listen to yourself, and mostly it's the only person you are going to listen to. Like you said, until you're ready to stop it and kind of figure out, like, all right, this is an issue, this is a problem. You can't listen to anyone. You won't listen to anyone. Yeah. Unless you have an intervention. But
do the rest of the guys in your band like party, or do they support you, or do they go, you know, how's the dynamic?
So we're not a party band at all. We're a player show, hang out for an hour, jump in the van, go sleep. We get excited to go to like McDonald's. We don't get excited to party. We just like sleeping. My guitarist will have a drink, my drummer will have a drink, but it's literally like, you know, 2 here and there. I don't drink. My other guitarist Pete doesn't drink, and my bassist doesn't, as far as I'm aware. So in the whole like rock star scheme of things, we're fucking boring. I wouldn't have it any other way, because it just works. Like, I love sleep. I just want to sleep all the time.
Oh my god, it's the best, isn't it? It's so good. Right. We're completely the same.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
See, this is why we should tour together. We should do a few shows.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
It'd just be the most.
You have to just tell us when. Do you have a lot of? Would you say that your band is to your fans is quite a party crowd?
I don't really know. Our fans,
bit of a weird question.
They go such different age groups, kind of thing. I know a lot of them do, but I don't know. I'm not really fussed.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah. I don't know. Do you remember like going to shows at the Underworld and then staying for the club night after? Or did you ever do that?
I did for Purple Turtle. I remember seeing Trash Talk there, and then stayed afterwards. And it was just like, it was a whole day of drinking.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still. Maybe I'm out of the loop. I don't know if that's. I don't think it's like that anymore in London or in the.
So they had, when we done the Underworld in December, they had a club night afterwards.
Yeah.
But I don't think, you know, like how you used to have a ticket for the show and it'd get you into the after party afterwards.
Yeah.
These were 2 completely separate events. So our show was one thing, the club night was another. So there was no crossover. It was like, people that want to come to the club will come later. People that want to come for Graphic Nature, come now.
Yeah.
I don't think
How
that's
was that, by the way?
stupid, insane. Like,
Really?
I don't know what it is about being in a band of this size. You can never see the outside. I never look at us as... I'm happy if we have 100 listeners a month. I'm not saying we have millions of listeners, but I'll be happy with whatever. So I went in thinking like, okay, we're playing the Underworld. It's probably a bit too big for the size of our band. But regardless, let's have a good time and see how it is. Like, if 50 kids come, it's still 50 people that are there to see our band. I think by the end of the night, it was like 400 people. And,
wow.
For the space in front of the stage, that's packed. And like all the way to the back, it was packed. And I was just like, what the fuck? It was the first time I've not had to tell the crowd what to say. But for chants and shit. I was just like, wow, this is insane. But in the same thought, doing an hour-long set, fuck off. Like shouting for an hour.
It was an hour.
Horrible.
Yeah, no.
Horrible. Half an hour. That's the sweet spot.
Half an hour is still a lot.
I'm fucked. By the last song in our normal set, I'm done. And at that point in the set at Underworld, I was like, there's still another set that you've got to, force out of yourself. It's the first time I felt like I'm going to throw up or I'm going to pass out. And I felt myself being hungry on stage. Like, it got to the point where I'm like, I purposefully didn't eat a big meal before playing. And I probably should have eaten a bit more. And I was like, oh my God, I've got nothing in me and I've got nothing left to give.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it. It was perfect. Loved it.
Yeah. Was
so
that
good.
So when was that?
December 22nd. 3
days
days
was
before
the last
Christmas.
time you played London?
Yeah.
That was the last show you played?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I haven't played a show since.
Yeah. So nothing in the pipeline or nothing you could talk about?
No, we've got us and our friend's band Dream State. Two very different types of music. We're doing like 2.5 weeks together, and that starts in about 4 weeks.
Hell yeah.
But there's no London date. But
I saw the poster.
Yeah.
So is there a reason for that? Because that's a bit weird.
I don't know. I know we have plans to play London, but maybe it just wasn't available in the time frame.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully, if you got some stuff coming up, let us know.
Well, like I said, man, like when we did this headline tour, I even said to Pete, our guitarist, because we're both big Dead Swans fans, and I was like, look, Nick's got a new band. We have to put them on. So whenever or if that thing's ever going to happen, I'm messaging you first.
Oh, that's so nice.
If I'd have known before, I would have had you on the Underworld show as well. But everything was so last minute for that with supports.
I don't know if we would have been able to do that anyway. I don't know if I would have been like post surgery. The first when we had a gig to play, I was like, I can't tense my diaphragm. So like I couldn't do it, but like obviously when you're shouting, I'm like, everything's like, and I was like so nervous about, I'm gonna puke, I'm gonna shit myself, I'm gonna faint, something's gonna happen. And when we played our first show, I leant forward a few, like 2 or 3 songs in, everything's fine. And then I just took it like a gulp of air I think we're finishing the song. It was just like a one last little bit to do. And I just felt something shift and was like, oh, okay. and I just didn't sing that bit, and it wasn't visibly anything wrong. I wasn't in pain or anything, but it just felt like an organ had moved. And it's really weird feeling, and it definitely put a downer on the night for me, because I was just overthinking it, getting a bit anxious, and I'm totally good now, but sometimes I don't know if it's just masses of injuries or age, but the body just does stuff.
That's
and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah,
the body just does stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's not so much pain on stage, because I think adrenaline carries me through whatever, but it's not breathing enough or breathing too much, and then you go to shout and you let all of it out, and suddenly, oh god, I've got a fucking headache. No. Do you get that? Yeah, especially in studio. I feel like it's when I'm trying to do like a long, like one word kind of scream, or I've just been shouting and pushing to get the correct amount of emotion out.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, it's like, what's the fucking
it's
thing?
Pressure.
Yeah. What's the thing with the ice cream? Brain freeze.
Brain freeze.
It feels like that, but worse.
Yeah. It's a really kind of, I do this thing, and I only did it towards probably later on in Dead Swans, and it's only happened in the studio for when we recorded with Still in Love. And so the back of your neck you'll push your head forward, and the back of your neck will tense up.
Right. And
it kind of like those two muscles, it can just lead to a pressure headache. And they started, I don't know how bad you've had, I've had it like so bad that I've had to like put my hands on the floor and just trying to shake it off. Be like, and then when it goes away, you're
fine. Mine is, you shout, you come back, and then it's like, oh god, and then you sit there for a sec.
Yeah, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny at all.
No, it's just. But then you go to do the next line, and you're like, all right, cool, I feel good. And you do another bit. And it's like, oh no, oh fuck, hold on.
Yeah, I had it. There was a bit on one of the song on Withdrawal Symptoms, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this bit that's from basically like a whole bar or more, that was just like a big build up, and I tried to do it, and I thought my ears were going to start bleeding and I was going to die, and I was like, there's no way I'm trying that again, and in my head on the way there I was like, yeah, that's going to sound sick, and it was a absolute like humbling eye opener to not push it that hard. Yeah,
just humbling. Like
those moments when you realise you are very, very much human, and not a superhero, and you can't just, I've had a few of those moments, not just with bad, like just in life, it's like, oh shit, like I can break that easily. All right, great. Well, better try to reinforce this and make myself as strong as possible to deal with it.
Well, I think with you is, I always see on your Instagram, you're always breaking something, like from skating.
Yeah. Touch wood. Yeah, I've had a fair few. Mostly my ankles. But my left ankle, I've broken 5 times.
Fucking hell.
Right, yeah. I got arthritis in my left ankle. Broken the right middle, like the foot and the ankle on my right foot twice. Both wrists, both sides of the rib cage. My hand, I folded my whole hand in half.
Well, like that way?
No, like, so if I was to do like this, I'll do it on this because that's the hand. But like, imagine this angle, but here. So the whole hand, and that's why this finger is like.
Fuck.
So it's like, it's like there's no knuckle there. I should have had. They were going to take a piece of my hip bone and fix it. So I would. If they have to do anything with it now, they'd have to re-break it, and I'm like, that's long. It kind of gives me some grief in winter when it gets cold, but my hand's fine. It's just a bit bent. But
that's so insane.
Elbow, I don't know, like what everything else. I've actually probably my right hip as well is given. Like, funnily enough, my dad just had a hip replacement, and I'm so going down that road, like later, and I'm so not down. But all of this stuff is now why I'm a lot more calculated when I skate. I'm not as reckless, and I see a chiropractor once or twice a month. I have a PT that helps me with, because like I said, the arthritis. I found out that I've got chronic whiplash in my neck from all the years in Dead Swans.
Just from not
ever. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's bad. It's fine. Like, it's fine now, but then if I don't go see my chiropractor or get like a sports massage, I'll hold all my tension, and that can be held from, stress from work and how I'm sitting in my posture. But I won't say, if someone calls my name, I'm not like, I'll be like this. Like, I realized I stopped using my neck, and I actually noticed it in skate footage. I used to be a lot more like flexible. Okay. I'm quite flexible, but I just started moving slower. I was like, why do I look so? I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't put my finger on what I was watching until I realized that, just breaking down all of this hardened muscle, and my neck after some time, if I'm not following these workouts that I have to do and seeing a chiropractor, it will just feel like gravel is just grinding,
Fuck.
And we make jokes about it. Who's going to get like the worst bang over? Because you're writing a song and then suddenly Mark or Curtis come out with a really, really heavy riff. I'm like, oh shit.
You have to power through.
Like, I'm like, this, oh well, R.I.P. Nick.
Yeah.
But if I was to say anything to anyone about that, is just fucking take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not as in much as in am in enough. I can't talk. I'm not in as much pain as I was. God, I'm really, since you said this whole like ADHD dyslexia thing, I think we've triggered something.
That's it. You're done.
But yeah, my neck, my ankles, my hips. It's all good. I'm fine. But again, back to our booze and stuff, I would just drink to deal with it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, whew, okay, this is going to be a pretty heavy climb to get back. And we need to take care of our necks.
We do. I've never had a massage or sports massage or anything.
Dude,
I feel like I can tell just here. Yeah.
Do you feel like your head is forward?
Yeah, all the time. Like, oh God. I feel like I'm always like in photos, I feel like I'm like this. But I don't know. I try and sit back. I'm like up. But my wife is like, you need to go. You need to get over like someone touching you and just get it done.
How do you feel about chiropractors?
I'm addicted to the videos and I want to go.
like,
dude, fuck me up. Like, I know I've got it.
I only ask because obviously some people don't agree with the practice. Each to their own, I would say. But when I went, and I had a shoulder issue at the time, lower back pain just from having like tight glutes and skating too much and not ever warming down. And man, when the first time I had my neck cracked, it was like the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
I said at the time, I was like, I feel like a fucking owl. Like I feel like I can just like come up. Just full on Linda playing my head all the way around. Like it just feels great. And from then on, all of these pains and all of the trauma that I've had around my body, I've learned about it, and I've learned how to fix it, or not necessarily fix it, but make it copable.
Yeah.
You know? And I would
heartless.
Just because of what you're doing in your band, I would say give it at least a sports massage. At least have a sports massage. That shit's fucking great. Yeah.
I mean, something I hadn't done before, which I now do religiously, warming up before a show. Not just my voice, but my body. And also, like, taking time to cool down after. Because other times I'd be like, right, let's go and do something, like, straight away. But now I'm just like, I will chill and just, you know, change my clothes for a start, because they're soaking wet, and like try and shower.
Like, how much water do you pour over yourself before you play?
So,
like, are you already soaking wet, or is it just the head?
My head is all soaking wet, and then I have to put like leave-in conditioner in so it stays wet. It's
okay.
So I spoke to Lee Spillman from Trash Talk.
Yeah.
He used to do it all the time, and I was like, why do you wet your hair? And he was like, there's nothing worse than inhaling like dry hair. And then when I become a vocalist, I did it on my first show and was like, oh wow, you're like pulling this fucking hair out. So when it's wet, I can flick it back, kind of like a wrestler.
Yeah, you got really long hair too.
Yeah. So it's just easier to get out of your mouth. It's such a uncool way to be, but it's basically like, it kind of looks cool, and I don't swallow dry hair. Right.
You and Lee both have very long hair, so I understand. Now that you've said that, I mean, I can just imagine you being like,
it's horrible, especially like, it's usually the only time when I'm speaking to the crowd. So between songs, I'm like, oh, okay, one sec, pull it out. Okay, how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I want to cut it, but...
Really?
Yeah. It's like one of those things I've had for so long, but now it's an image for the band thing. And I feel like I do rely on it, so I don't have to move as much. I'll still move, but I'll let the hair do its thing, because it kind of looks menacing in a way. But with short hair, I'll just be like, oh yeah.
You ever shaved your head?
I did. My dad done it for me. And I mean, it didn't look great, but I was younger. I was like in secondary school.
Yeah.
But my wife did it like last year.
Sick.
Looks rad.
I think I would have really, when I was in my 20s, to the thought of just like having anything other than, just long hair and headbanging and quite self-conscious. Just that time, like, now I'm 38 now, and I probably from the stress and age and trauma, like my hair's been falling out. I've been funnily enough, I had a beard before.
I've never seen you with a beard.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, I guess it just, no one really like noticed the difference, because which was great, because that kind of suits you too. And I was like, yeah, thanks, cool. I basically just did the classic. I ran out of razor heads and I left it, and then trimmed it and was like, well, there we go.
Yeah,
but then it randomly started falling out.
Ooh.
And it was a stress response from all of the stomach stuff. So I have like a dotted facial hair now. But I used to have like a pretty big beard. And now, there's holes on both sides, and it's just kind of, I feel like that it's happening as well with this. It's like we all care. We all care.
Yeah.
And it's getting to that point where, loving yourself as much as you can.
Yeah.
And
you have to.
It's you can't neglect it at all. You have to 100%, even if that means like staring yourself in the mirror and being like, just saying some affirmations.
Yeah.
Like once a week, if that. I do it every day. I had to do it, and because I used to just stare and just like hated my reflection. Like I absolutely hated it, and I'd always be scared of things like losing my hair or the body doing things that I wasn't ready for it to do. And now I'm just, it's like, if you were to do it, if you wanted to cut it, and like you said, it was the image of your band or something, it's just like, I think you got to weigh it up with like what's more important. I've weighed in on myself and like how I would feel about certain things in that, but obviously, I don't think the hair of your is the image of the band.
No, not the image of the band. More for me, it's like the mask almost, because I cover my face.
Yes,
I don't feel like I'm being looked at. I hate being looked at. It's an anxiety thing or a self-conscious thing.
Yeah.
So if I've got that in front of my face and I can kind of look at the crowd like this way, it doesn't fuss me. But also, like, I wear it up all the time and it's manageable and I do like it. But sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to samurai this shit and just cut the bun off.
Oh, dude.
It'd be so cool.
Yeah. Do you know the weirdest feeling? It's such a dissatisfying feeling. Is if you're not prepared and you had long hair and then you cut it off and you go to headbang it when you're playing live and you suddenly go, what? What is this? It's a fucking horrible feeling. Well,
and your head's light as well.
Horrible is a strong word. Yeah, exactly. You're like, wait a minute. Oh. It's more of like this feeling, like, oh.
Yeah, it's...
Okay.
It's
sad. Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck's sake. All right, bro. Let's get on to some... I got two questions, really. We were talking about films like at the start of this conversation. What is... I want to say your favourite film, but what have you been watching recently that you like... Oh yeah, this is it. Like I've watched it multiple times, and it's like,
I'm my favorite thing about films is, I guess, grit. Like I really like a gritty film. The genre doesn't necessarily have to apply. I watch a lot of drama, thrillers, mysteries. I'm an absolute fan of the Aliens franchise. That's like my I like it all. Like even I'll have like, debates with friends on being like, oh yeah, what do you think about Alien 3? I'm like, I like it.
Which one's Alien 3 again?
It's when they crashed on the planet, like Hicks and Newt die. Yeah. And then I think I like it because I saw it when I was a little kid, and it was like I was saying with those films, that stood out to me. It didn't scare me that much. It was just, it's such a weird atmosphere, and it's such a strange film. It's such a strangely hated film as well. Like, I think just because Alien and Aliens were, these big blockbuster successes, and Alien 3 was like, what is this? And I'm
Alien
like,
3 is Ron Perlman in, right?
That's Alien Resurrection.
That's Resurrection, okay. Is 3 the one where they introduced the dogs? I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen it in so long.
There's two versions. But the Alien in the director's cut, or like the normal cut that might get, if it's ever played on TV, I don't even think it is, but it comes out of a dog.
Okay.
But there's also a version where it comes out of a bull.
Right.
For some reason.
Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, it's a really, really strange kind of... That's what I love about it. It's so random. And like the director... So there was just all of this drama around the making of that film. Like people quitting and having to rewrite it. Like some of Ripley's lines weren't her lines, and like the script was completely messed up.
Okay.
And it was just a bit of a nightmare, I guess. But then I heard, do you know that Neil Blomkamp?
Yeah, who done District 9?
Yeah. So he was supposed to do an Alien movie, and he posted up all of the artwork and the kind of the aesthetic and everything, and it was like it basically cancelled out Alien 3.
Okay.
And it was like Hicks was still alive, Newt was still alive. They end up going to Earth. There's xenomorphs, and like it's a big Earth war basically.
Okay.
And I saw it and was like, oh my god, this is going to be the best thing in the world. Like, and I'll still watch all the other ones and like them. Just like basically anything in that universe, I just like.
Yeah.
And it can be terrible.
Are you the same with Predator as well?
I'll watch them all. I absolutely love Predator and Predator 2. I think Predator 2 is amazing.
Yeah, I prefer
in the
Predator
city.
2.
So good. Danny Glover's amazing in it.
Do you see the new one?
And did you see the little nod with the gun?
Yeah.
I saw that and it's just like brilliant, amazing. But all of those films, I definitely have. Growing up and just having action heroes, I just like loved all of the old, like the 90s, not just like Die Hard, but like Bruce Willis ones like Last Boy Scout, Striking Distance, all of those
Bruce Willis films.
Oh yeah, Last Boy Scout is so sick.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, he's basically pretty much still just John McClane.
Okay.
But it's just like a different thing. He's just like this really like smart ass, pissed off, burnt out cop.
See, I love that idea of film.
Yeah,
like buddy cop films. All for it.
But generally, I probably watch more series. I just finished watching the new True Detective season. I liked it a lot.
I've been told to watch it. Like, I've never seen any of it. Apparently, the first season's incredible.
Yeah, I definitely don't have to be the one to say like,
okay,
watch season 1. Like, I'm sure people have told you like, dude, it's actually amazing.
Okay,
it's so perfect. Like the soundtrack, visuals, script, acting, like everything about it is perfect. Like I don't rewatch stuff. I don't rewatch series. I rewatch movies, I guess. But that is, I've watched it like 3 times all the way through. For me, that's
I've got to watch that.
yeah. Anything cold as well. Do you know Fortitude?
No.
It's basically Fortitude. It's like basically they I think it was on BBC. I can't remember. They build a hotel in the ice, and all this crazy shit keeps happening, and a lot of mystery around murders and deaths and weird folklore in the area and stuff like that. I'm just psychological thriller with grit and loads of drama, and you've got my attention. basically. Yeah.
Trying to think what has that I've seen recently. Oh, I wanted to watch. I think it's called Silo on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Looks fucking incredible. Is it good?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah.
I need to watch.
I just sound like all I do is watch TV because you're like, have you seen that? I'm like, yeah, I've seen everything. No, I definitely haven't. Silo's great. Really, really good soundtrack as well. And just the concept. Do you like dystopian, futuristic sort of stuff?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of something that I would have watched. I really like the film The Road. That's depressing.
So literally got the soundtrack next to me.
Incredible.
That Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. Those few soundtracks, like The Road, The Assassination of Jesse James, Road's Petition. Oh, I can't even remember now. But that one piano piece in The Road, that dun, 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 dun. Do you know the bit I mean?
I'm gonna have to re-listen to it.
It's devastating. It's so sad, just like getting to the beach and yeah.
I remember I watched that at work. I was like, I just want something to watch. I was like, fucking hell! Like, got to the end of that film, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Have you seen The Grey?
The Grey? No.
It's a Liam Neeson film.
After he done Taken, right? Is it with the wolves and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it advertised, but I never watched it.
So fucking cool. There's again, the soundtrack. We've got like an old radiogram here, so me and my girlfriend always buy records, and I'm always looking out for certain soundtracks. This Mark Streitenfeld composed the score for that film, and survival in the cold and being hunted by wolves and trying to not be in their lair, and slowly, one by one, they get picked off.
Okay.
And he's grieving the loss of his wife. I'm just giving away spoilers now, but like it's just the way his character is. Yeah. And again, another movie in the snow. But it's that I've watched it so many times, and there's those bits, kind of like writing a song, I guess. It has those bits that you wait for in a film, and when it finally gets that bit, you're just like, yes, like this is perfect. Yeah,
hell yeah,
really cool.
That's fucking sick. What did you think of what was that fucking film called? The Revenant with Leo. Was it The Revenant? Yeah.
Yeah. Really great. Really, really brutal. Savage. Again, that soundtrack is quite similar to the soundtrack in The Grey. Okay. As far as a vibe goes, like if you were to actually play them next to each other, you'd be like, this doesn't sound any, but that really, really bleak, eerie, just the sounds, you can kind of feel the twigs snapping under your feet if you watch that film, if you know what I mean. Like
tense, almost.
Yeah, I really like The Revenant. I was again back into the alien stuff. I was a fan of Prometheus. I said I liked all of that stuff, but like
Prometheus, yeah, or Alien Covenant, was it?
Yeah, Covenant is the one that I'll watch it. Yeah, but if I was to do them in like chronological order, sometimes I would skip Covenant and I would go Prometheus and then just watch Alien. Okay. Straight after, because there's like the whole space jockey. You know, they find the engineers. Have you seen Alien?
I've seen Alien, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've got an example. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, that's sick as fuck.
So cool.
But the space jockey, when they go into the ship, yeah, and they find that massive looking, it's like it looks like a guy flying a ship, mm-hmm. and they're all walking around. And this guy's like, really big. They never explained that in the first movie, so to have some sort of see that again. There's actually a really, really cool bit of that. If you've ever played Alien Isolation,
I didn't. My bassist says it's the best horror game, of anything. I just don't do well with tense shit, and if someone's chasing me, I'm like, nope.
Yeah, you're not really in a position to fight in the game. You hide.
I think that's why it works so well.
That's it. But there's a bit where you actually go to the planet, and it's basically just that scene in Alien, and you're walking around, and you can just it feels like an open world almost. Small, but you can walk around and see the space jockey, and I was like drooling. I was like a little kid. I was like,
fan service for sure.
Yeah. Sick. But yeah, as far as if I was to say movies, then it would be in the dystopian wise, probably like Blade Runner, Aliens. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, yeah. Visually, whoa.
Yeah.
Super, whoa. And
Denis, or however you spell his name.
Yeah. I generally just have a bit of a massive soft spot for Harrison Ford. Any film.
Yeah.
Past, present, future. If I know he's in it, yep. Sold.
It's Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and Deckard all together.
Nah,
that's it.
Even that, it's just you don't have to do anything ever again.
Yeah.
But still, even his roles in his role in The Fugitive, Clear and Present Danger, those action films they're obviously smaller and not as iconic as those characters, but I'm just like, damn. He's the coolest guy ever. He actually came into my work, and he was trying to buy a salad.
Right.
And I just heard he was in the building, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go and find him.
Yeah, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah, but I'm also like, I'm so nervous about if you'd actually catch up with a person and be like, hey, and what if they were like, get the fuck away from me. I'll be like, oh man,
crushed.
Oh yeah, it would literally just kill me.
Yeah.
So again, I never want to meet any of my heroes.
No, no.
In that realm anyway. No way. It would just break me.
I'm in the same boat. If I was to meet anyone that I looked up to, I really want to. I'd like to meet Josh Brolin, just because I know he's into punk music and scruffy little grunger.
Have you ever seen Thrashing?
No.
It's the 80s movie where he is a skater.
Okay.
Skater in the 80s, and it's gang stuff in Venice Beach, and it's actually got all of Tony Alva's in it, I think. Christian Hosoi.
Yeah.
Quite big skaters from the 80s are in it, but it's the pinnacle of the 80s when it comes to the haircuts and the outfits and the music. And
sick.
He's skating down the beach in the tiniest cut off jeans, and he's got a cross earring. And the script is absolutely out of this world. You couldn't get away with any of that now, but it's definitely watch that. He was in the Goonies.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Maybe earlier, but he looks like that. He's like a kid.
Okay.
Yeah. But he'd be cool to me. Yeah.
He's just cool as fuck. Did you? I won't keep you for much longer, but because we both worked for Vans, did you have Tony Alva and everyone come in and do the store visits?
I missed most things. I was too busy being a runner, just throwing shoes at people.
Yeah, that was my job as well. With a little fucking radio.
Yeah.
I hated it. I got so fit though. So fit.
This is the thing. That's the only thing. that I could. I actually made some friends at that job that I'm still friends with.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I think Kate, so my girlfriend showed me a photo literally the other day, and it was me stood there with the earpiece on, and I was like, fucking hell, I'm like so skinny. And she was like, yeah, we were running up and down those stairs like 50 times a day, 50 to 100 times a day.
And you don't think about it, do you? It's just...
No, because they'd just be like, you know...
Read to the floor.
Old school, UK 10. And I'm just like, how, you know, boom, 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 and just going back and forth. And it was so routine. But that job, I don't know how it was for you, but that job for me personally literally put me in hospital.
It put me mentally... I just completely closed off from it. Once VF, was it VF that bought them out?
Yes.
I think they had a change in like leadership. Once that changed and they took the skate floor away, I was like, "No, I'm done." So about a year into the earpieces, I was like, "This isn't what I signed up for." So, see ya.
It's it's tricky because I have friends like. Good friends that skate that are sponsored by Vans, and I have friends that work for Vans still, and I'm not, living in London's not easy.
Nope.
Rent and bills and everything, and a job is a job. If you're trying to fucking get by, then good, but like I was so busted and depressed from just being overworked, and I got told to be put on like beta blockers, and it was pretty hectic. But obviously there was other stuff going on in my life as well at the time. But the overwork side, I was I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, we were all just trying to survive.
Yeah.
That it was pretty fucking hectic. Where did you work?
Carnaby.
It was Carnaby Street.
Yeah.
Wait, that was before. So, what? Do you remember when you were there?
2013, 14 or 15.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It was great.
Wild.
First year was best time of my life. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like
really?
Everyone that I worked with, I was so in love with. And I still keep in contact with pretty much everyone. I think that's the good thing about that job is just the people you work with. The job could kind of suck at times, but
it's still a job.
Still a job.